This is Byron Lazine and Nicole White, and you are tuned into episode 170 of The Real Word.
Word is up.
Nicole, welcome back from your big trip.
Oh, thank you. I was like, we haven't missed an episode.
No, we haven't missed an episode because we recorded before you left. But if you weren't following, maybe it's a good thing if you weren't following Nicole. If you didn't want to just get
no. I saved it. I have a highlight.
You're gonna come out with more content from this trip.
Well, maybe, but I did on my. If you go on my Instagram, Nicole White Realtor, I did actually make a highlight. Hashtag this is 40. So if anybody missed it,
you can just follow that one.
It's living right there. There's going to be lots of content going forward on this one, depending on which of the girls maybe pisses me off one day. I got a few people sleeping at dinner. I have some people sleeping on the airplane. I have, I got some good shit. Mm-hmm.
I've never seen a 40th live on for so long, but Nicole, you did it up. If you're not following Nicole on Instagram, make sure you go do that. So you can see all that content of her epic Florida Keys 40th trip.
Amazing.
What'd you take? 3 of our top producers with you.
Oh, 3 producers and then our
marketing genius.
Yes.
And you completely screwed us over for an entire week.
Are you kidding me? Those girls probably worked more than they did. And I was like, are you guys insane? Uh-oh. You left. You kicked something.
Well, this is the never-ending issues, which we are going to have solved here pretty soon. But anyways,
we are going to have them solved.
If you're not following Nicole on Instagram, go do that. Only if you're already following me. That's the rule.
Oh,
so,
uh-oh.
That's the rule. All right, let's get into the rackets.
Exhausting. Okay.
Racket number 1 is from Time. What is this? This is still a magazine? Time magazine? Is that how that works?
Clearly it is, because we're reading from it. Yep.
So the headline, it says Time 2030. I don't even know what that means. But anyway.
Maybe that's when they're going to
retire
sunset.
The magazine? Yeah, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Time magazine, the climate real estate bubble. And then it says, is the U.S. on the verge of another financial crisis? If you read the article, it has nothing to do with a financial crisis. I have no idea.
Well, they are. They're talking about the fact that, let's get into the article. Yeah. And then, it is very much a huge crisis. I mean, it's talking about homes being flooded, people having to walk away from their properties. It's talking about towns and states having to buy properties because they're in flood-prone areas. And not just that, but also insurance. They're saying it's $1 billion business each year, all of these flood claims. So I do think it has something to do with a financial crisis, but I guess in a different way. Yes. Yeah.
I mean, we're going to hit it from the climate crisis standpoint here.
Yep.
The bulk of the article focuses around this Anna Zimmerman, who lived at 1171 Shoreham in Charleston, South Carolina, which is a fabulous town.
I've never been. It's on my bucket list. Maybe this summer.
Fantastic restaurant.
Maybe when I'm 40 and a half.
So anyways, this neighborhood that she lived in, I guess, is prone for flooding. She bought the house in 2005. Well, 2015, 10 years later, she had her first flood, took out most of her property. This was just heavy rain, and this came as a complete shock to her. No flood risk had been disclosed when Zimmerman bought the house 10 years earlier. But she was determined to turn lemons into lemonade. So she used up the insurance money to fix it up. And anyway, she was willing to stay there till retirement. It was her dream home. Then Hurricane Irma came in 2017, and it completely destroyed the house again. So she had it at this point, right? She's like, I'm moving. I'm going to leave the house. But she took an interesting approach, Nicole. Mm-hmm. She did not want to sell the property. So she got insurance money.
Right.
After Irma.
Yep.
And so she could either fix it up and move back in for a second time, which she didn't want to do that. She could have tore the property down and had a lot, or she could sell the property to like flippers, investors that wanted to take on, and then she could take that money and move on, go do something else, basically, right?
Right.
But she did not want to sell it because she thought it was unethical to sell that property. And this is where this is where I got completely lost on this whole entire thing, because Time Magazine's talking to a homeowner. There's no real estate professionals included in this article.
Right.
Where it's like, and I don't know who was educating, poor Anna here, who like went through all this stuff. Like, you can sell it to an investor and disclose this is exactly right. She's complaining about no disclosure when she bought it. Well,
I think she's worried that the flipper wouldn't disclose it to the next buyer that there was. But I'll be honest.
Okay, but you can't control other people down the line. You disclose to the flipper. You CYA.
Right. Well, but
here's
to be
what's
quite
going
honest,
on.
Anybody trying to get homeowners insurance after 2 flood losses, I mean, I can't even imagine what that policy would look like.
Yeah, there's plenty of disclosure that can go around here, and you can basically, cover yourself.
What's super interesting, though, as you read on, is that she ended up foreclosing.
That's my point.
And now it's on the market because it was fixed up and flipped anyway. Yeah.
And so now it's on the market with Fannie Mae, and supposedly Fannie Mae is not disclosing.
Well, because they don't have to.
Right. Exactly. Because it's now bank-owned property. They're not disclosing. She had left messages on the walls. My point about this is there's a huge racket going on because there's more to the story than Time Magazine. Time Magazine is painting out Anna to be this like hero of, disclosure. And I don't believe that for a second. She would have never gone into foreclosure having all these other options. She literally had, according to this article, she literally had a flipper who sent her a written offer and kept following up like, I want to buy the property. I understand about the flooding. Here's an offer. I want to buy the property. And she was like, I was going to have too much liability selling it to this person. No, you won't. No, you won't. You disclose and you sell the property and you move on. Now you went into foreclosure. There's a missing link here. I don't know what it is, but something's missing.
I feel like that was really only one paragraph of the article.
And it kind of got me wound up.
Clearly, because there's so much more meat to this. That's just,
yes, and I agree. So let's get into the meat.
That was just a paragraph.
That paragraph just was a complete racket. I just want to say that. All right, let's get into the meat.
Yeah.
Annual flood days in the city increased 750% from 1980 to 2020. That's according to data from the National Weather Service. There's telltale signs all over. In wealthier neighborhoods in the area, historic homes are being elevated at costs that can run several $100,000. We know that. Living in Shoreline, Connecticut, like it costs a lot of money to raise homes. That really wasn't an option for. I guess it was an option for her in her neighborhood, maybe not with budget and all these different kind of things. Her home is only worth right now. Fannie Mae has it on the market for $200,000. They had it on for $210,000. They just reduced it to $199,900. So 750% increase. Charleston, we know, is in a big time flood zone. I mean, people, you don't need much disclosure to figure that out. They've got a little chart here too. The change in average annual property loss related to flood damage from 2020 to 2050. So this is like projecting into the future. Like what the change in lost dollars are going to be. If you hit the link, we're going to link this up as we always do. You can kind of scroll and hover above these counties in Charleston or these areas, and it'll show you what the projected loss is in U.S. dollars, which the U.S. dollar is losing itself anyways. We'll flash that on the screen here too if you don't want to go through the article. But what really stuck out to you, Nicole?
Well, again, if you keep going on through the article, it talks about down here, they did a nonprofit research group that studied flood risk, estimates that flooding alone already results in $20 billion in property loss annually, and that this figure will only grow to more than $30 billion in 30 years. So it's interesting because you sent me this article, and I'm a NBC Today Show watcher, and they actually were interviewing a family from Texas that, again, same thing happened. I think it was maybe 3 years ago, the floods came through Texas, or not long ago. They lost their house.
Last year, right?
Maybe it was a year and a half ago.
Yep.
And then they finally got their house fixed back up. And then this past winter with those freezing weather that came through, and they lost pretty much everything again because all of their pipes froze. So it's very interesting. I mean, coastline, weather changing patterns. It'll be interesting to see what continues to happen. And again, I think that this is why this article is titled the financial crisis, because this is a lot of money. I know you're not an Anna fan, but that is a crisis for her. That's a huge financial crisis.
I'm not saying I'm not a fan. I'm not saying I'm not a fan of Anna. I'm saying something is missing. She had every opportunity to not go into foreclosure. She could have sold it to an investor who was begging her for the property. And she got really, maybe she just got really bad advice. Maybe I'm not a fan of her attorney who said she was going to be on the book for liability.
But
That's not true.
We're also assuming, so she bought in 2005. So we're also assuming that she wasn't underwater, because if she did sell to an investor at 150, she would still have to come to the table with 50. It probably did make a lot more sense for her just to say goodbye to the house.
She got the insurance money. She could have gotten out of this thing clean.
Potentially, but you're also assuming that she didn't buy a car, or like there's so many other things that she could have just been doing. I don't know. I'm just saying things happen. I'd like to think that foreclosure was. I'd like to think that foreclosure was her worst case scenario. And
so then write that.
Yes,
things do happen. I get you. Write that, but don't paint her out to be some saint here. That she like her moral high ground was so ridiculously high that's why she went into foreclosure as opposed to saving herself financially here. I mean that's just ridiculous.
I'm just surprised though too that if there are mortgages involved, that ping, you need flood insurance. I mean, there's homes that are $9 million, they're in the sky, and the insurance or the mortgage company is telling them that they need flood. So I'm actually a little bit surprised that if there wasn't any disclosure from the prior owner, that at least the mortgage company was it, because FEMA's all over it. I mean, FEMA's constantly remapping. I mean, it's happening.
And where they get into, I guess, to the financial crisis part is experts see a collective threat to the U.S. economy because the risks of owning a home in places affected by climate change stack up, and economists and policymakers say climate-induced flight from these threatened areas could shock the U.S. economy, where home prices would plummet there, and lending would dry up, and that local tax base would diminish as people flee in these regions. Yeah. So,
well, it sounds like her neighbor, the town, actually did buy the lot next door just to remediate the risk. So
yeah.
It's a real thing.
It was interesting. Yeah, the town bought the one next door and they raised it.
Right.
So the town bought the property in the neighborhood, the neighboring property, and then raised it up. So she had tried to sell, I guess, when they were trying to make her out to be a saint, she tried to go sell it to the government, failed there. But again, had plenty of opportunities to sell the property and just didn't take them. I mean, here we go. Zimmerman was honest from the beginning. She told him, the investor here, that it had flooded multiple times, citing an estimate from a structural engineer that it would cost. So you disclosed. Go ahead and sell it. The person replied, "I'm still interested," right? So, I mean, you fully disclosed. That person said, "I'm completely interested." She had 90 pages of text messages and emails that she shared with Time. That's where something is missing. A lot of times you read these articles, they're selectively editing to make their story. I just don't know what's missing from here, but total racket, in my opinion. They also have the map of Houston. So if you're interested in Houston's change in average annual property loss related to flood damage from 2020 to 2050. So, and was the NBC one, was that Houston, or where was that in Texas? Probably Houston, right?
I'm assuming, I think that's where. Well, I mean, obviously the whole power grid went down in a lot of Texas, but no, I do believe that the family was in Houston. Yes. Yeah,
they're talking about Hurricane Harvey, which I believe is probably the same one.
Right.
But here's what's interesting. Data from Houston Association of Realtors, which we've talked about on the show in the past, show that instead of driving people away, sales surged in the months following Harvey. So, they don't understand why people want to continue to buy in these areas. I understand why. People love living by the shore. People love living in areas like Houston. Like,
they want a beach, and they want, yes.
They're willing to take on the risk in the future. I think they even went on to say, I'll have to find it, but they're like, are people just not informed, or are people... Like, they almost call people stupid.
People are informed. So we have a client that has a house down in the Keys, which I happened to stay at this past week.
Yes, you did.
And it got destroyed.
I mean, you're gonna be talking about this for the rest of your life.
Forever.
Till you're 50.
It got 40 and a half, because the next trip is then. So it got destroyed during the hurricane.
Where's the next trip?
I don't know. Remember we said Charleston at 4. Were you listening I'm going to go there for 40 and 40 and a half.
Yeah.
So it was destroyed during, I don't even know what hurricane. I don't track them, but he rebuilt, and he doesn't he doesn't even have flood insurance on it anymore because the flood insurance company couldn't even give him enough to fix it. So now he's like, forget the flood policy. Like, I don't even need it. I'll just keep spending the cash if I need to fix it. So, but it's a great spot. He's able to generate some income from it because he could, Airbnb it. I mean, if there's enough of an upside it's sort of like we always tell our homeowners to save, like, what is it, like 1%, 1 to 2% just for like maintenance. So I think if you're able to sort of stockpile a little bit, so if some emergency does come up, I don't know. I mean, I don't think they're stupid. I don't think they're uninformed because these things are physically happening to them. But I agree with you. I think that people still, regardless, want to live there and are willing to take on the risk.
Yeah, it says, homes are destroyed, but buyers are undeterred, whether because of the influence of home flippers, a lack of reliable information about a home's risk. In this situation, Zimmerman told the person the risk,
right, or
simple carelessness. So time is basically calling people stupid that continue to buy in these areas. Yeah. Okay.
All right. You feel good about that one?
I thought the majority, there's a lot of great information in this article.
There is a lot of great information.
Especially if you sell property in an area that's, like we do, that are, multiple flood zones in the areas that we sell. I'd encourage you to read it. There's a whole bunch of information. It gets into, some of the ambitions from the Biden administration. There's a lot of good stuff in here. There's also a lot of racketeering by time. So you just got to sift through all that bull crap.
Heard it here first.
All right, racket number 2. Zillow's new ad campaign. They got 2 new commercials highlighting 2 sides of the moving journey. Nicole, did you watch these commercials?
I think you heard me watch them.
Yeah. Have you seen them on TV yet?
I haven't seen them on TV. Nope. Right. No.
So I
watched them first here.
Yeah, they're taking inspiration from the great reshuffling that happened during the pandemic. We've been talking about the great reshuffling forever. I feel like Zillow's new ad campaign, "To Move is to Grow," highlights the emotional side of moving. You like that?
I do. Yep.
All right, so let's talk about the first, and we'll link these up. We'll link up the Inman article so you can get to both of the YouTube videos. You could just go on to Zillow's YouTube if you wanted to as well. Anyways, first one is called Zillow Susans. So not Zillow Karens, Zillow Susans. Moving is inherently about moving forward, letting go of the past, and embracing life's next chapter. That's according to the chief marketing officer from Zillow. So what is this moving, or this Zillow Susans all about?
I giggled. I thought it was funny. So it's about a woman, obviously. Her name is Susan, and she is selling and buying at the same time in 2 different locations. And she pretty much goes into a what are those rooms called? Like a boardroom, and starts sort of calling out all of the Susans that are in her head of sort of how she's feeling, but then obviously calling out the other Susans that could actually help calm her down. And in the end, she is told to go with Zillow. Zillow can help her sell and buy.
It's like that MTV music video when we were kids. Eminem, will the real Slim Shady please stand up? And there's these M&Ms walking around with the white T-shirt.
That's so funny.
Yeah, she's in this room with a whole bunch of Susans herself, and all these different personality traits. Yeah,
all of her personality traits. Yes, I thought it was funny. I giggled.
Negative Susan immediately vetoed the idea. Spontaneous Susan begins ordering drapes for the new home. Antisocial Susan is wary about meeting new neighbors. Lazy Susan would rather just sleep. Finally, helpful Susan chimes in and convinces CEO Susan to begin her home selling and home buying journey with who?
With Zillow, of course.
With Zillow, of course, of course.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
The next ad is The Journey, draws inspiration from Where the Wild Things Are to tell the story of a little girl who sees her moving experience as a mystical tale filled with mystery and danger. Do you even know what that is, Where the Wild Things Are? What is that?
I'm sorry? Are you asking? You've never read the book?
Have I read the book?
Your parents did not read you books at night? This is
boy.
Bobby, thank you. This is a children's book.
1963 children's book.
I just
looked it up.
But I'm certain that your wife has read it, or at least has it on the bookcase for your daughters.
Oh, we got 100
guarantee
books.
it.
Yeah.
I guarantee it.
I don't know how we could afford all these books. My daughter's 4, and we got I feel like 100 books already.
Well, but people probably give her books for
Lots
her
of
birthdays
books.
and holidays. I mean, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to have a bunch of books that you don't read, because then you're a bad parent if you don't. But anyway,
she does a book a night, though. I'll give her that.
And that is brilliant. So I did that with my first 2, and they like to read. I did it with my third, and he can barely read a sentence. So
it sounds like you didn't do it with your third.
I didn't. That's what I'm saying. I have an in-house experiment that I did, and it definitely confirms.
Write a book on that.
I may. But I feel like I want to write a book on the fact that you have no idea about the book Where the Wild Things Are.
Well, I'm learning. Every day you learn something new.
It's a quick read. I mean, some pages don't even have words on it. So you could get through it pretty quickly.
So you can watch the commercial, but after sailing away from her old home and going through the mountains and walking down fog-filled streets, she settles into a dark cave, and she says, I guess this is it. But as she's awakened by a friendly greeting from a new neighbor, the cave transforms into her actual new bedroom as she finally feels at home. One thing I thought that was interesting about this, which one did you like better?
Oh, I liked the Susan one way better.
Yeah, the Susan one was funnier. This one
it was dark. It was dark, but I do think To Move is to Grow was like sort of the perfect tail end to that story, because I do think that obviously as children grow, but I do think I thought it was perfect.
This one was interesting because the moving experience is so hard, no matter how. As real estate professionals, no matter how easy you make it, there is still going to be a layer of stress and discomfort in the move itself. Just like,
of course,
you're movers, right? You're like getting stuff physically into boxes. There's so many layers of stress that go with a move. And then when you look at for kids, right, that have friends that are leaving friends and they need to make a new impression in a new area, because Zillow's talking about the great reshuffling, people moving all over the place. If you've got kids and you're doing that, it's even harder.
Right. Well, yeah, absolutely. Because I think it's so easy for adults to sort of obviously worry about them before thinking about what the kid is going through during the move too. But
this is well done, Zillow.
I love it.
Pretty good. They filmed these in New York City, and director Jim Jenkins led the New York City team. Prague, the Prague team is the company that they use there. So, way to go, guys!
Yeah, again, that Where the Wild Things Are was highly edited too. I mean, that was like a feature film.
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
All right, Marketeer of the Week. We've got a Katie Lance article. Can you hear that racket going on outside my door?
People are all of a sudden knocking on your door.
I mean,
you're popular over there.
That was extreme. Well, this door will have the soundproofing go up at some point, which it's not up yet. But anyways, so Katie Lance, our friend Katie. What's up, Katie? She's the Marketeer of the Week for her article in Inman 10 Secret Instagram and Facebook Features Most Agents Miss. So, stuck for content ideas, here is a list that might be able to help you. We'll go through all 10. Facebook, number 1, don't be a secret agent. Okay, we know that one, right?
Yeah.
Are you in on that?
Creepers, I hope so.
That's a good one. We've been talking about that forever. Don't be a secret agent. Be talking about real estate, right? People don't have osmosis abilities where they're just going to be able to know you're an agent.
Well, I think what they're saying though is that on Facebook, privacy, because there's certain things on your personal page that you can make private and not, but they're also assuming that hopefully you have a business page so that you can keep business to business. But I mean, your Facebook page, in my mind, shouldn't be private.
I just tried to get a hold of an agent, Orlando, Florida area, and I went through Facebook, and he didn't have the ability where you can message him. He didn't even have the ability turned on where you could friend him. He had it so blocked where you couldn't friend the person.
But
you could only
did he max out? He may have maxed out on his friends.
Nope. I looked at that.
He doesn't want anymore. He's like, I'm done.
Doesn't
good.
Want people friending him. And then
why is he even on Facebook?
I'm totally calling somebody out right now. But anyways, doesn't want somebody friending him. And then as a real estate agent, didn't even have the ability where you could send a direct message.
Interesting.
I mean, that's just foolish. That is just foolish.
Well, unless he knows he's not going to be responding to them. I don't know.
Unless he knows he's getting out of the business. It is just stupid.
Well,
I mean, if you're in the business, you should be responding to your DMs.
Right.
Anyways, number 2, Create private Facebook lists to organize your clients and prospects. This is a great one because who the heck? Jill Bedreau, 5 a.m. call moderator. Mm-hmm. Go sign up to 5amcall.com if you need your morning jacked up.
There it is.
Jill says to me we spend so much time talking about your Instagram handle. I'm going to have to give out every single one of my social handles.
What's really funny though is it's really just this episode that we're talking about me. All the 169s are about ByronLazine.com.
That is so crazy.
And
Everybody,
5 a.m. at yeah.
Make sure you're following me on Instagram, by the way, at Byron Lazine.
Just saying.
No, this is brilliant. So Jill was talking about the other day. I was on a phone chat with Jill, great agent out of the Boston Wellesley area, Mass. And she's talking about this book, Ninja Selling. I just sent it to Ryan on our team, Nicole. I'm going to send it to the whole team, Mm-hmm. But anyways, Ninja Selling, going deep on your past client list, like really Ninja Selling and giftology, like sending gifts, sending something a little more personal than just, I don't know, what would you normally send? Like, whatever you would normally send.
Like a Dunkin' Donuts gift card?
Yeah, like not gift cards, like going more personal, like doing a drop off of their favorite bottle of wine because you've listened, you've paid attention, but then following that up, like, because obviously if you're going to drop off wines, it's not very time, constructive to go and have 20 conversations in a day because you got other stuff you got to do.
Well, that's the huge Buffalini move. Buffalini loves the drop-bys, loves the follow-ups, loves all that.
Do the drop-by.
Yeah.
But where she is taking it to the next level is she's doing the drop-by of what she knows their favorite wine or whatever it is because she listens.
Right.
And then she sends a video text message like, hey, just want to make sure you get the drop-off. Sorry I missed you. Like, I hope you guys are doing well. I saw this on Facebook. Whatever, like a 15-second hey, so that they still see your face on the 15-second video chat. She double-ended at like a $3 million deal just by doing that. So pretty effective.
What does that have to do with the private Facebook
what does
group?
that have getting back to the private Facebook groups?
Let's get back.
This is why this makes sense, right? Is you want to do the same thing on a micro level every single week, every single month by engaging on the post that your friends, going deep on your past client, your friend list. And if you have those separate from just like the agent, like on the other side of the country that, you're also following and you want to engage with or whatever, you're friends with them, but your top 150 clients, if you can just go to that list every single day and check in on their news feed, it'll create a whole news feed of just those 150 people. So you can go deep on communicating with them. All right, we got to get through this list here. Number 3, review your Facebook insights within the Facebook groups that you manage. So, who's most active in the groups that you're in so you can learn more about them and engage at a higher level, basically.
Well, I think what's really important, though, too, is to see which ones are doing well and what are people really engaging with, too.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay.
Number 4, automatic captions for Facebook Live. So that's basically a time hack, right? Mm-hmm. Good one. I like that.
Yeah. I thought we were trying to blow through these.
All right.
As I
5,
spit
download your
Mm-hmm.
Facebook Live replays. Yeah. You can put those up to YouTube or
absolutely Instagram. Yeah. Agree.
All right, Instagram now. Create Instagram highlights to extend the life of your Instagram stories.
I did that
in the beginning, and then I just stopped adding to my highlights. Do you ever look at anybody's highlights?
I do.
I never do.
But I'm a big I like design and stuff. So if I'm following,
they might have
designer,
some category.
They're breaking it up into each house. So if I knew that it was a house, I want to go back to that so I could see the bathroom again, or I want to see the tile that was in there. Yes, I think that's very helpful. Yep.
And I'm not sure that people don't know about that one, but okay, I like that one, Katie. Sure. 2, create Instagram guides to showcase your expertise. Nikki Short on the team's doing a great job of this. For sure. I think, anytime you can help educate and create a guide, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Robust search feature, number 3. So where are they going with that? Oh, searching locations, hashtags, keywords.
Did you actually read that guide one? I never did that. You're actually able to put your posts together into a little book, kind of.
Yeah.
Anyway, I never did that.
No, I think that's good.
I think it's great.
robust search feature. So, search local businesses that you love, basically a better way to engage locally, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Turn your notifications on for your A+ connections. Absolutely. Definitely do that. Go to @ByronLazine. Turn notifications on. There you go. On Instagram.
Anyway, number 5.
Nicole, do you have my notifications on?
Dude, I am the first person to
I
post
know.
on every single one of your posts.
I know.
I can't get the flip away from
ever
you
since
at this
since I
point.
did that Instagram reel where I showed that
Oh,
you
my
didn't comment
Lord.
or engage in like my 400 previous Instagram posts. So
I mean, but I'm certain that
You're
your
making up for
Instagram
lost
has
time.
blown up now because
Yeah.
it's all because of my engagement.
it's true.
Yes.
Number 5, look into what worked before. So if you're stuck on ideas, what has worked for you in the past, and repurpose or frame up that content
But if
do
you're
that
on,
style.
right,
again.
but if you're on Instagram though too, what's nice is if you're a business, you get the insights there too. So definitely reflect on those regularly.
And kind of where she was going with the Facebook stuff, I thought the Facebook tips were better than the Instagram ones, but the Facebook tips, there's so much information, analytical information for you to either engage with your top clients or figure out what people really like
Right.
listening.
Or what they really don't like, because how many unfollows do you sometimes get from posts and you're like, whoa, got to stay away from that.
But just reading other people's conversations, if they're a client, a past client, a future client, learning more about them, it's a great way to listen, learn about them, and then be able to give them a great gift or do whatever, have a conversation with them down the road about the things that they're really interested in. So
Right. Good. Well, that was quite the show.
I was going to show you my new camera so that doesn't happen, but
Oh, well, no
I
one
don't know
really
where it is.
cares.
Somewhere
I
over
think
here.
people are listening, not watching. But
yeah. And if you're listening on Apple, would love for you to go and give us a review on if you're on Apple Podcasts. And if you're on YouTube, subscribe, hit the notification bell, talking about notifications. Do we have a confessional this week? I don't know that we do.
No confessional this week. The following week we do.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Subscribe to YouTube. Leave us a comment, what you thought of the show. Share this with somebody who can learn from it. Nicole, follow her on Instagram, I guess.
I mean, if you have to.
Yeah. All right.
At least just go. You don't have to follow me, but at least just go check out my highlight reel from my trip.
Oh, yeah.
You'll get all the feels.
If you want to see palm trees and top producers raging out of their mind, go to Nicole's.
We didn't rage out of our mind. We
No.
were sophisticated. We did a little karaoke.
Hey, did you guys get the creme brulee?
I don't think we got any creme brulee. I don't think they
Oh,
offer
my
creme
God.
brulee down there. They don't offer creme brulee.
They said yes to the creme brulee. I ordered 2 or 3 creme brulees for dessert. Did you get a candle at that restaurant?
No, nothing. Nothing. No candle, no creme brulee, no singing. There wasn't not one lady sang. Nope.
You guys got the wine.
We definitely got the wine and we ordered another bottle afterward. Yep.
And they paid for your first round of drinks, right?
I don't know the answer to that.
Jesus.
We didn't, again, to be quite honest, I mean, we didn't pay for any of that meal.
Okay.
Yes. So I don't know the answer to any of that, but
I know they hit my credit card.
well,
But they were supposed to bring you out a candle.
no, actually,
I ordered this is what I did. I ordered a cheesecake with a candle.
Nope.
And then 2 creme brulees because I was hoping you guys would tap, send me the instant. And I was like, why didn't they do the creme brulee back?
You know what ended up happening? Actually, we closed out our bill and Paige actually ended up paying for our desserts because we ordered dessert after we had closed out our bill. We decided late, oh, you know what? Let's get dessert. No. Ooh, we should call them.
I'm very disappointed. I actually talked to them 3 different times because, anyways, and I stressed the dessert thing with the creme brulee. We have creme brulee.
We totally would have participated in that. No, we
Do you like cheesecake?
I got the cheesecake.
I knew you liked cheesecake. That's why he was doing the candle and the cheesecake.
We paid for the cheesecake. So
I was so surprised that you guys didn't.
We totally
send me
would
back the
have
creme brulee.
if they actually delivered the dessert. There
on Instagram. Speaking of Instagram.
Yeah, you know that we would have done that for you.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's disappointing.
Anyway.
All right. For the last time, happy
Great
birthday,
show.
Nicole.
Thank you. For the
All right.
last time.
We'll see you guys next week on The Real World. Keep it real.